So, what really happens after we die? It's a huge question, right? Well, let's dive into a fascinating story that tackles that very idea. But forget what you think you know. This isn't a world of pearly gates or fiery pits. No, this is a world filled with unfulfilled souls, each one kind of stuck because of the life they left behind. This is their story, and it's a journey into the two very different ways they might finally find release. Imagine this. A young man named Shitij suddenly finds himself standing in a cold, thick fog. He can't see a thing. But as the mist shifts, he makes out the shape of this massive, ancient banyan tree. And then a deep, booming voice just echoes through the silence with this really chilling welcome. He's arrived in this strange, unsettling limbo, and he has absolutely no idea why. As his eyes start to adjust, Shitij realizes he's not alone. There are others under the tree, and wow, it's a haunting sight. There's a woman just weeping her heart out, a little kid absently playing in the dirt, a man just pacing in circles going nowhere. But the thing that's truly unsettling, it's the look in their eyes, this shared hollow emptiness. They're all there, but it's like the very meaning of life has been scooped right out of them. That mysterious voice tells him to remember how he got here. And then, it all comes flooding back. He was on top of the world, literally walking towards the love of his life to propose. He saw her smile through the restaurant window. He took that one step forward into his future, and then a truck. In a single brutal instant, his life, his love, his entire future, all of it was left unfinished. And suddenly he gets it. He finally understands why he's here. As Kshitij is just sitting there, drowning in his own grief, something clicks. He looks over at the other vacant souls, and he understands. If he just obsesses over his own pain, his own unfinished story, he's going to end up just like them, trapped for all eternity. He realizes that to escape, he has to do something completely different. He has to connect. And so, this begins the first path to liberation. Kshitij has this idea. What if they shared their stories, their pain, their unfinished business? He thinks that maybe, just maybe, by sharing their burdens, they might find a way to be free. The weeping woman, Savitri, she's the first to speak, and her story is just heartbreaking. She'd wanted a child for years and years. When she finally got pregnant, she was overjoyed. But during childbirth, there were complications. With her final breaths, she made a choice. She told the doctors to save her baby, even if it meant she wouldn't make it. So she became a mother, but she never, ever got to hold her child. Hearing this, the little girl playing in the dirt, Gudia, she tells her story. Turns out she was born with a bad heart, and her poor mother worked day and night to try and afford treatment that was just always out of reach. Her mom's love was everything to her. But one night, she collapsed. She died in her mother's arms on the way to the hospital. A child who never got the chance to grow up with her mother. You see it, right? Their stories lay their pain right next to each other, and it's the exact same wound, just from two different sides. One is a mother without a child, the other is a child without a mother. Their incompleteness is a perfect, tragic mirror image. Kshitij sees this connection instantly. He turns to Savitri and says, "Why don't you be a mother to her?" And in that moment, something incredible happens. Savitri opens her arms, and Gudia runs into her embrace like she's finally found her way home. The mother's love finds a child, and the child's longing finds a mother. And this, right here, is the first path to what the story calls moksha, or liberation. It's not about forgetting the pain. It's about finding fulfillment, finding tripti, by healing someone else's wounds with your own empathy and love. Through each other, Savitri and Gudia become whole, and they finally find peace. So, inspired by this, other souls start sharing their stories, and you can feel this wave of healing spread. But one soul stays silent, the girl who's just been counting her cowrie shells. And right then, a new soul materializes out of the fog. His arrival is about to bring a much, much darker story into the light. This newcomer, the Nanje, he tells this tragic tale. He says he was a watchman who found a murdered 14-year-old girl. He claims he tried to save her, but was found with her blood on his hands and was wrongly convicted and executed for the crime, leaving behind a grieving family. He makes himself out to be the victim of a terrible injustice. But as he finishes his plea for sympathy, the clinking of those cowrie shells just stops. The silent girl, who hasn't said a single word this entire time. She shoots to her feet, and with a voice filled with pure rage, she screams one single word that cuts right through Donenjoy's lies. Enough. Everyone just freezes. The girl, her name is Hadel, she points a finger straight at Donenjoy. He wasn't some innocent watchman. He was her attacker, her murderer. And then she delivers the chilling truth. She has been waiting in this limbo for years, just for him to arrive, so she could finally see justice done. And this, right here, reveals the second path to moksha. You see, Hadel wasn't looking for solace or healing through empathy. Her unfinished purpose was totally different. She was waiting for the wheel of karma to turn. Her liberation was tied to her tormentor finally facing the consequences of what he did. Furious at the truth, the other souls all pass judgment together. They lay a curse on Donenjoy, a punishment that is so much worse than death. He will stay trapped in this dark limbo until every single other being in the entire universe has achieved liberation, and then he will have to wait another 10,400 years after that. I mean, that is a truly mind-boggling wait for karmic justice. Okay, so what we have here are two completely different outcomes for two completely different kinds of unfinished lives. Let's really break down what this tells us about the story's whole idea of moksha. I mean, these two paths could not be more different. For Savitri and Gaudiya, liberation was based on empathy and love, and it led to this beautiful, peaceful fulfillment. But for Donenjoy and Hadel, their path was all about karma and justice, and the outcome wasn't peace at all. It was punishment and retribution. It seems like liberation is a direct reflection of the life you actually lived. Ultimately, the core message here is pretty clear. Our actions create our destiny. Whether it's through finding peace by giving love or facing justice for our crimes, the story suggests that the universe always finds a way to balance the scales. That wheel of karma, no matter how long it takes, it always completes its circle. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. This story gives us two starkly different journeys to liberation. One is about compassionate healing, and the other is about cold, hard justice. It really makes you wonder, what does it truly mean to be set free? And is the path to that freedom really the same for everyone?